Hello there, comrade. Jon Snow would like to see you. Welcome to the land of Westeros. Come on, follow me. Come on, it's just behind me. Onwards, comrade! Hold on, where are we?
Hold up. Hey.
Hold on, let me just check my map real quick so we don't get lost. Oh, yeah, we've been going the wrong way. Come on. Here we are.
Hi, I am the secretary of the castle.
Boring.
Mr. Jon Snow is currently relieving himself, but I will let him know of your presence right away, okay? Hi, I'm Jon Snow. Oh, you must be the person I asked to help. Oh, well, you see, I'm trying to get someone who can model me, an equation that gives me the amount of swords forged in terms of the season. Jon Snow is ordering a model indicating seasons in terms of dragonglass swords forged. What we're going to have to do is we're going to take f of x, which is the number of dragonglass swords forged in terms of seasons, and we're going to have to switch the variables, so x becomes the number of dragonglass swords forged, and y becomes the season. Then we're going to have to solve for y, and we end up getting that y equals 3 natural log of x plus 1, where x is the number of dragonglass swords forged, and y is the season.
The villagers are starting to get scared, and are dying to know the rate at which the Night King's White Walkers is changing during Season 2. Jon Snow has personally asked you to find out for him.
Because the villagers want to know the rate at which the White Walkers' population is changing, we need to find the derivative of g of x, which gives us the population of White Walkers in terms of season. So, what we have to do is take the derivative of negative 2 arcsine of x over 4 plus pi. When doing the derivative, the constants don't matter, so we just take the derivative of negative 2 arcsine x over 4, and that gives us negative 1 over 2 root 1 minus x squared over 16. Once we find the derivative, we have to make x equals 2 because we are in the second season. Once we plug in x equals 2, we get negative 1 over root 3, which rationalized becomes negative root 3 over 3 White Walkers dead per season. The reason it is dead is because there is a negative change, meaning the White Walker population is decreasing. Hello there, I am Blacksmith Gendry. I'm sure you've met my twin brother, the Secretary. And basically, I'm in need of a favor. I was kinda wondering if you could figure out the rate at which my blacksmith shop can forge swords. Could you do that for me? Why, thank you very much.
So Blacksmith Gentry wants us to find the function for the rate at which his blacksmith shop can forge swords during Season 3. So first we have the function for the number of swords he can forge, which is e to the x over 3 minus 1. Now when he asks for rate, it implies taking the derivative of the function. So we get f prime of x equals 1/3 e to the x over 3. So since it's asking for the rate at Season 3, we have to plug in 3 for the derivative, and that gives us 1/3 e to the 3 over 3, which can just be simplified to e over 3 swords per season.
Why you bully me?
I do not like wasting dragon glass, so you have to calculate how much dragon glass has been used in the 4 seasons of Game of Thrones. Since he wants to know how much dragon glass was used, we first have to find the number of swords that were manufactured in the 4 seasons. First, we have to take the function f of x, which is e to the x over 3 minus 1, and we have to take the integral of it from 0 to 4. This gives us 3e to the 4 over 3 minus 7, which is approximately 4.381 swords. Then we gotta multiply it by 5 because each sword takes 5 pounds of dragon glass, and this gives us approximately 21.905 pounds of dragon glass used in 4 seasons of Game of Thrones. I would also like to know how many swords were made per White Walker. To find how many swords were created per White Walker, we have to find the ratio between White Walkers and the number of swords created. We know from the previous question that there were approximately 4.381 swords forged in the 4 seasons. To find the number of White Walkers alive in the 4 seasons, we have to find the integral of g of x, which is -2 arcsine x over 4 plus pi. When finding the integral, we have to use integration by parts to find the integral of arcsine x over 4. To do this, we make u equal arcsine of x over 4 and dv equal dx. Then we have to use ultraviolet minus voodoo, and we get -2 times the quantity of x arcsine of x over 4 minus 1 over 4 of the integral x over the square root of 1 minus x squared over 16 dx from 0 to 4. On the other side, we still have the integral of pi from 0 to 4. That just ends up being pi times x from 0 to 4. At this point in the question, we are now going to focus on the 1/4 of the integral x over the square root of 1 minus x squared over 16 dx. So we're going to make u equal the square root of 1 minus x squared over 16, and the derivative of that is -x over 16 times the square root of 1 minus x squared over 16 dx. This means that -1 over 16 times the integral of x over the square root of 1 minus x squared over 16 equals the square root of 1 minus x squared over 16. If we multiply both sides by 4, we get -1 over 4 times the integral of x over the square root of 1 minus x squared over 16 equals 4 times the square root of 1 minus x squared over 16. Now that we've figured out what -1 over 4 times the integral of x over 1 minus x squared over 16 dx is, we can rewrite the equation by saying -2 times the quantity x arcsine of x over 4 plus 4 root 1 minus x squared over 16 from 0 to 4 plus 4 pi, because the term pi x from 0 to 4 is just 4 pi. After simplifying, we find out that there are 8 White Walkers TM born in 4 seasons. Then we take the ratio of swords to White Walkers by doing 4.381 over 8, which is approximately 0.548. This means that approximately 0.548 swords were created per White Walker. Right,
Still rolling.